I know where to find it. Oh, did they move it? They moved it. Crap.
What's crap? Me.
This
movie. No.
we both did it.
Well, that's the cold opening.
That's the cold open.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Living the DreamWorks, episode 19, where we talk about every single DreamWorks animated film, including the dragon ones. I am The Wash.
I'm Random Bystander here.
And I'm Claire.
And we're talking about How to Train Your Dragon.
With the 2010, we just entered the new decade, which I didn't even realize from the last episode that we were exiting the 2000s and now we're in the 2010s. I was supposed to do research on like what happened in 2010, but a lot of stuff happened in 2010. You can look it up.
Go look it up yourself.
Go look it up.
What are we, Google?
You'll go to a library.
And like this wouldn't even be the only DreamWorks film of 2010. The next one is a big one. And we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, this one's pretty small.
This one is just like a little thing that they kind of like threw in. You can tell too because it was released in I think it was released in March. I get to just put it out there and then it's just like, okay, we'll put all our efforts on the next one because that's like the big marquee one, and this is like it's based on like a children's book. It's not gonna, I don't know. We've had the razzle dazzle, but it doesn't have like huge names in the cast or anything like that, so it's not going to be that big, and it was big.
Like Kung Fu Panda's smaller than this, and that Kung Fu Panda's pretty big.
Yeah, I have never seen How to Train Your Dragon until today. I kept hearing about this goddamn movie for years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
For over a decade, people were like, "Oh my god, How to Train Your Dragon, watch it!" And I'm like, one day.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, I was about to. I guess that's a good segue into our history with it. Is that I'm exactly the same. I did not see any of this until about. I might have seen like clips of it. They might have aired it on Cartoon Network at some point, and I might have saw it briefly in glimpse, like the whole that whole sequence with Hiccup like applying what he learned from Toothless into like the other dragons, and everybody's gonna be like, "Whoa, how's you doing that?" I'm pretty sure I saw that before, but aside from that, this is brand new to me.
I remember seeing this in the theaters in 3D because 3D was the cool thing, and I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll talk about while we will, because I watched this on Sunday. And I did not watch it in 3D. It was my first time watching it in 2D, I guess you could say. But we'll talk about if, the 3D just kind of floored me when I saw it. But it definitely completely floored me when I saw it in the theaters. I adored the 3D, and I thought the movie was excellent. And I was talking very positively about it these last few episodes that we've done. And I think it was a couple movies ago. I feel like it was probably like the interim between the movie before Kung Fu Panda, a B movie, and Kung Fu Panda.
How dare you forget about B movie?
I was in the movie. I was like, How to Train Your Dragon is so close. I know Kung Fu Panda's right there, but How to Train Your Dragon is so close. So I just, I went to YouTube to like watch clips, and the first one I saw was the Act 3 breakup, and I'm like, oh yeah, this movie has an Act 3 breakup. What else does it have? And I was watching the opening scene. I was like, oh yeah, this movie has forced romance. That's right. What else does it have? And like the more clips that I watched, I was like, was this movie actually good? And we'll talk about it.
But I do have a story. With watching this film. First off, this was another film I watched with Mama Bystander.
Ooh.
So I would just like, can we watch How to Train Your Dragon? She's like, fine, let's watch it.
Yeah, why
I'm
not?
like, okay, all right, cool. Because it was free on Amazon. That's how I watched it.
Oh, hey.
Not sponsored at all.
Amazon, it better not be.
But the funny thing is, yes, the day before, I was like, I'm going to stream, put on my contacts, play some Super Mario RPG. And then I was up all night writing a script and then waiting for results for something. I wake up, something feels different, but I don't know what it is. And then I'm like, all right, time to watch How You Train Your Dragon. And I watch it, and I start to get misty-eyed a little bit. And I'm like, okay, this is a little emotional, but, like, I don't think I'm sad. And then, like, I notice it, like, it keeps getting progressively a little bit, like stuff, like, tears are coming out of my eyes a bit. And I'm like, again, it is emotional stuff, but I didn't think I would be crying. And then I was like, and then I finished the movie, and I was like, ooh, what a day. And then I'm like, where are my glasses? I slept with my contacts on.
Oh!
I've never done that before.
Wow. That's a great story.
So that's why I cried in How to Train Your Dragon.
So if you want the true How to Train Your Dragon experience, be sure to first sleep with your contacts on.
And forget you even have vision problems. Because I didn't even think to put on glasses that day. No, I was like, oh, I see fine. That's nice.
You didn't like realize that it was like blurry?
It wasn't blurry though, because the contacts, they were still on.
Oh,
I didn't think about being like, wow, gee, my eyesight's been cured overnight. And I was like, I was so tired that, like, I guess I thought I put on my glasses sometime in between, but no, it just, I was like, wait a minute, oh shit. So that's why I'm wearing glasses right now. Thankfully, it wasn't a full 24 hours because I only put them on the stream, which I start around 7 p.m. So thankfully, It wasn't like a whole day's worth. Otherwise, my eyes would look a lot worse.
Oh,
but despite my eyes possibly being uncomfortable, I had a good time seeing How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, good.
My eye.
Bald.
All right, so before we do anything else, who wants to do the plot synopsis?
I think I did it last time.
Yeah, you were so eager to talk about Bob.
Ah, yeah.
This takes place in a land of Vikings. I forget the name of it already, but it starts with a B.
I think it was Dwarf.
No, it was like Risk or something, I thought.
Dork.
Burke. It is Burke. The Viking village of Burke. It's a bit known for a lot of things, but also being attacked by dragons. And so the village fights dragons and is known for fighting dragons. It's in their culture. And the star of our show, Hiccup, wants to first get into the action, but is really kind of a weakling compared to everyone else. Like, everyone makes fun of him. Everyone says he causes trouble. But even though he wants to fit in, he eventually shoots down a very rare dragon known as a Night Fury and then finds it. And before he kills it, he's like, no, I can't do this. So, over time, he balances being trained to hunt dragons along with bonding with, the Night Shade known as Toothless.
Night Fury.
Night fuck.
Night
The
fuck?
Shut
What
up.
kind of movie are you?
Shut up. The Night Fury, known as Toothless, who he names. And it's about their bond in the film and how they grow closer and how learning from Toothless helps him learn to become a better dragon trainer, not warrior trainer. And then there's some plot about like him interacting with the other fighters. His dad's involved and the relationship with that, and hijinks ensues.
It's Boy and His Dragon. It's
Boy and His Dragon. Yeah.
It's the basic, like, if you boil it way down, it's Boy and his pet forming a connection with.
Yeah, it's almost like a movie about a connection with a wild animal was made by a director who previously made a movie about someone's connection with a wild animal.
Let's talk about Chris Sanders. Chris Sanders, a co-director of this one. We got some backstory here, including some old friends, quote unquote. So Chris Sanders had been working with Disney for many years. He was actually developing Lilo and Stitch for like decades before that movie eventually came out. I remember loving that movie, but I haven't seen it in a very long time.
Yeah.
So he made Lilo and Stitch and voiced Stitch, in fact.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. He if you hear a Stitch, the only time he's not Stitch is in the Lilo and Stitch anime that I found out existed yesterday.
Yeah,
Yep.
it does
Oh my god, there's
exist.
so much Lilo and Stitch.
There's so much.
Yeah, there's way too much, and like that's completely separate from the TV show. There's an anime.
Yeah, no, yep.
Anyway. So it's in the early 2000s. Disney at this time was still being run by Michael Eisner, the old friend of Katzenberg, the friends no more. And at this point, they're starting to develop some CGI films to compete against Pixar because they weren't sure if they were actually gonna renew the contract and like actually make Pixar like a permanent part of Disney. So they were competing against them and doing like Chicken Run and Meet the Robinsons.
You mean Chicken Little?
Yeah, Chicken Little.
Chicken Run, Chicken Little.
Same
Little.
chicken, different animation style. One's made by Aardman Stop Motion, one's shitty.
The chickens, they're revolting.
We're talking about How to Train Your Dragon.
A movie that called Tangled, which would come out in 2010 as well, and a movie that at the time was called American Dog that Chris Sanders was working on and developing. And actually, Rancid and I were just having a chat about this. I didn't even think it would be relevant, but Rancid and I were just having a chat about American Dog and just like what could have been. Eventually, like the deal was made with Disney and Pixar, and Michael Eisner was out the door. But there's an old pal, John Lasseter, who did not really care for American Dog, and he had a real like stick up his butt that the film was going to take place in the American Southwest. And he was like, well, my movie Cars is set in the American South, so we can't have two movies. Like, it's too close together to have like something like that. It's gonna look phony.
Chow.
So Chris Sanders was dropped out of the project. And then he eventually he had a deal with them with like I think a multi-film contract with them, but he negotiated out of that, moved over to DreamWorks, and they first put him on the project for a caveman movie that we'll be talking about much later. Like that was the first thing he did. He was working on that from like 2007, and that movie won't come out until 2013. But
Wow.
I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell is happening with that one, but we'll talk about that. But in the meantime, he would get assigned to this property that they just acquired for a series of children's books called How to Train Your Dragon. They're very popular children's books, and they're brought into the project, and the premise was first very very loyal to the source material. And they just consider it just way too whimsical and way too for kids. And so they started to restructure some stuff. And thank God, because man, oh man, is this so much better with and you can also just tell this is a Chris Sanders project because for some reason he just loves that head shape, the same head shape that for like for Stitch. That he used it for the dragon.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Or Toothless, yep.
And it's like he would even do like a webcomic later on, and it's looked exactly the same. He really loves that head shape. I don't know what it is, but it is a super appealing head shape. I'll grant him that.
My mama bystander even said, the dragon reminds me of Stitch, and I'm like, what? That's weird. Oh,
yeah, yeah. It's up and down. And they all have their own unique designs. Like, I guess that's another thing that they have the commonality that like there's multiple aliens in Lilo and Stitch, and then there's multiple dragons in How to Train Your Dragon. I didn't like write down the names for it because there are like a bazillion different dragons.
There's so much lore to this movie and world building, and I kind of like it.
I loved it.
Yeah. I'll go a step further. I adored it.
Yeah, it was
everything. I remember, like, I don't know his name. I'm just gonna call him the foul one. I'm sorry, but the overweight one. How's that?
The one who played like a role playing game.
Yeah. When he was like listing off stats and stuff, and everyone was like, "Would you stop?" I was like, "All right, this is gonna get old," but like it never did.
No, in fact, he was actually like
I liked him well enough. I mean, do I love him like a lot of other things about the movie? No, but did I like him? Yeah.
Fish legs is his.
That's it. Fish legs. You got it.
Fish legs.
Yeah.
And he treats everything like it's like, oh god.
He treats everything like a D&D
25% attack power, and I'm like,
he's like plus 25.
Yeah.
in stealth, like he's using like D&D.
I would not have gotten that joke in 2010, but now I get it, and it's great.
It's in the context of this, it works fine, well enough that it's just like a dork. That like if you have this world of like Vikings that are obsessed with fighting dragons, you're gonna have that one who's like a super nerd about it.
Yeah.
And he's like he's like pathological about it too. That he's just like naming facts, but he's not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's not even like, shut up, you're not helping.
Not helping. Yeah, he's just like naming the thing that they're gonna do, and then just like shivering away. Like there's at one point where he's like naming fast, and then I think his shield melted or something. He just ran away.
Yeah. You're out.
Can we talk about the opening though? Like the opening of this movie.
So many moving parts.
So many things.
Yeah.
Happening.
Things. There is. Okay. We will talk. God. Okay. There is one specific aspect of the movie that I want to talk about so badly that the opening conveys excellently. I will hold off. Somehow, some way, I will hold off. But yeah, let's talk about that. What specifically do we want to talk about with the open? I mean, I don't mind just talking about how much there is going on. Like,
well, if the fact that it just you learn so much about the setting and world so quickly,
and I like that. Like, it shows you so much, but at the same time, it isn't. I mean, I love show don't tell. Obviously, when you get told something as being shown, it bothers me so much. But I also really like that Hiccup the whole time is kind of talking about what the procedures are with the dragons, things that he's talking about. He's kind of introducing you to the world as everything is happening. So you can see, you can see like the probably literal 1 million moving parts of just the opening while he's saying, yeah, this is our village. It's great. Oh, but one little problem. We got to fight off dragons. But I'm a beefcake, right? I can take care of it.
Oh, some islands have mosquitoes, but no, we got dragons.
We got dragons.
We got dragons.
And you see not only he's, and that's probably like a really tough balancing act because you just know, and we've seen movies from DreamWorks where they push that way too far into like you're just explaining what's on screen.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that was something that they really had to adjust for, and not only that with the narration and the fight, but also you see the relationships, the interpersonal connections. Like mainly that like everybody fucking hates Hiccup.
Everybody hates
Hiccup. Like I in a lot of I hate to say that like this is the DreamWorks edge or whatever, but I feel like I'll just say if it was a Disney movie because Jeffrey Katzenberg is a comedic story. But as so many other movies, I feel like either Astrid or the teacher, the instructor's name.
God.
Gobber? No, not Gobber.
Gobber.
Oh, it is
the
Gobber.
bell.
Oh, I was right. Okay, yeah.
I said God, but that's great.
Like Astrid or Gobber, one of the two. They would be, it's like, hey, listen, everybody else doesn't like you, but we'll treat you a little better than no. Astrid probably might hate him more than anybody else. First of all,
yeah, Astrid
and
like
even Gobber, like when he's not around, like when he's talking to the dad, he's like, you got to try to see on his like the Shifu arc. It's basically what he's trying to get him to go through. But when he's actually around Hiccup, he's like, you're so annoying. Just do what I tell you, please. Please.
Yeah,
please stay here.
Yeah. It's
right there.
Like there's a running joke which is like, we got to do something to fix this. And Hiccup just said, you just gestured to all of me.
Yeah.
Which would pay off in a great way.
Great way. Oh my god.
Oh
my god.
I love the payoff for that. But
yeah,
it's bitter, but also there's still like
you know what it is for me, and I'm not saying this to Hiccup's detriment. Actually, we'll talk about Hiccup. I rather liked him. I think it really helps that he is obnoxious and very annoying.
No, yeah, he is. He is.
I think that's if Hiccup was likable, we'd have another Mike Wazowski from Monsters University, where it's like, just stop picking on this poor guy. But no, he's like, oh yeah, Astrid will fall for a beefcake like me. I'm like, oh my god, you are a guy, aren't you?
My god, he is straight. But yeah, he in the opening he is a piece of shit. He's like scrappy dude trying to be like, I can take him on. Let me at him.
Yeah,
even though I can't.
Yeah, I had genuinely thought that he was like voiced by a teenager. I did not realize.
Yeah.
I did not realize that it was just Jay Baruchel just like doing the nasally squeaky. I felt that squeak so hard. Like you know this. Like you grow up, you know this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And honest to God, like again, he just gets in the way. He causes trouble. He tries to fight a dragon. He does like get Hiccup to like launch there, but like he does trap Hiccup and gets them to fall. But at the same time, his recklessness causes a lot of damage. And his father and everyone in the village is like, Hiccup, stay inside, please, for the love of God.
Yeah. Like Gabba is just talking so much shit about him.
Yeah.
He's like, what? He's being like overconfident. It's like, what would they want? They wouldn't want all this muscles. And it's like they could use some toothpicks.
Yeah. Great line, by the way.
Great, so great.
There's like a tiny bit in there. I forgot it was in the opening or a little bit later when he says like, I need to make my mark.
Yes.
It's like I was getting like horrible flashback, but
I was laughing. I was laughing for the obvious reason.
My eye twitched a bit.
It
quickly went away.
For the newbies that are listening to the podcast, really most of you, it's something that is very painful for us from
us.
The good
dinosaur. How to Train Your Dinosaur.
Just me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the one who. Yeah. Either way,
it's a fucking horrible line. How great
it is.
So
but
funny,
like.
though. But we're talking about
but in this, it's like it's over with. Yeah,
yeah. He says it once. It's not like a recurring thing. He's not saying that. He wants to actually make a mark.
Yeah. He wants to be He wants to do something, and he even like, and he's over cocky, and it's not until he starts to like he meets Toothless and has that fucking moment with him where he's like about to kill him, and then he instantly starts to change, and I'm like, it doesn't. Even though it technically is like a spur of the dime moment, like he literally goes from oh god, I want to kill all the dragons and make my mark to I don't want to fight any dragons. Like it's believable and it's told visually and it works.
Yeah, it's because the one moment that you like, that one moment is all you need.
Yeah.
And on that note, I can't not bring this up anymore. I have to bring it up. That scene, like on both Toothless and Hiccup, facial expressions, fantastic. We have to talk about the animation. We have to.
Oh my god!
I can't.
So good.
I want to wait. I can't do it anymore.
they're saying there's way too much. If we would break it down, that would be a little easier because I feel like human animations and dragon animations are completely separate discussions.
All right, let's start with this then. The flying scenes.
Oh my god, best part, visually best part of the movie. Visually the best part.
You got to see this movie in 3D. You have to.
I'm very sad I didn't because it's so funny that like I mean this is like the early 2010s and like they were really pushing hard on like 3D is back, it's better than ever, and it was for most stuff it was just still looking like crap, and especially like the last movie we saw, Monsters vs. Aliens, like we were just rolling our eyes. Claire's doing it right now. We were just rolling our eyes with like this it felt gimmicky. Like they didn't know what to do with this yet, but they had a mandate. Okay, like make it 3D like.
Make it 3D to justify the ticket increase.
Justify the massive ticket. Yeah, but in here, like I guess they this realized like, oh wait, you know what? If you just keep the camera wide, suddenly like the 3D glasses are just making it feel like a world, like a huge world you can touch, instead of like a paddle ball going straight into your face.
Exactly, and again, I mean, there are a lot of parts of the movie where, even ignoring the flying scenes, where I'm thinking, the 3D there is actually really neat. Like a lot of the fire effects, I'm like, yeah, that looked really good in 3D. But it's just when they're flying through the sky, it's watching it in 2D. If you watch it in 2D and you don't watch it in 3D, you're not missing anything. It's not like the movie is any worse for wear because of it. But yeah, unreal. I still vividly remember what it was like sitting in that theater watching those scenes. I'm not going to say like I blink and I see it. It's not like trauma or anything. But if I like just like sit down and I think about those scenes, I can just remember what it looked like, just how it felt.
Like,
unbelievable.
I think the huge thing with that sequence is not so much. Obviously, the animation is like top notch throughout the film. Really, the cinematography.
Yeah, like the staging, the scenery, like scenery. Yeah. But just everything. The camera angles. I love when they get to look like first person. It makes it 3D. Like actually, in this instance, it makes a lot of sense. But it just it immerses. Even in 2D, this movie just does such a good job of immersing you through the visuals.
Yeah. And it like that like POV stuff doesn't feel like forced.
No,
where it's just like where it's gonna feel like you're at Universal Studios writing the How to Train Your Dragon in 3D. No, it just feels like it's part of this. It just feels like it's part of the staging. That one shot where they're flipping in the sky.
Oh
my god, yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like it's like they're pretty much still, but the sky is rotating. You feel it in your bones. It's crazy good. Crazy good.
It looks amazing.
Like that is holy crap. It's
and I think when I say things like, a movie is gorgeous, I do understand, especially with CG, that, technology is evolving at such a rapid rate that within 3 years, this might not be like the best looking anymore or whatever, but
gotcha.
On what makes How to Train Your Dragon stand out, and I don't mean to rag on like, Disney or Pixar, because their movies around this time were also excellent. I see Tangled. I'm a fan of that movie. Obviously, Pixar is doing like, Up around this time. I very much enjoy Up.
Tangled kind of like set the new bar for Disney too, because they were having a hard time with CGI for a while.
It was Tangled, then Frozen. Well, I think after Frozen was Wreck-It Ralph, but that kind of style. But what's different between like going from Up to we'll just say Luca. That's the first one that came to my mind, of course. Or going from Tangled to Encanto. Like, obviously, there is a technological leap. These movies look better. If you go from How to Train Your Dragon to The Bad Guys, and The Bad Guys is a great-looking movie, but if you go from, like, point A to point B in that regard, How to Train Your Dragon, there's still nothing like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is why I think this is one of the best looking CG movies ever made. Just period.
Wow.
No, I agree. It's a damn good looking one. Again, I think the dragons, the designs of the dragons are really
Designs of the dragons
fun.
are so good.
Like again, Toothless kind of looks like a cat at points. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well,
But,
that's exactly what it is.
yeah. I mean, that's what Toothless is. But I don't know. I guess I hate to say this, especially with all of me here, but like, not a dog.
I guess if we are gonna talk about the dragon, I'm just gonna say this, that like I was for a good while, like I was like okay, this is like pretty interesting. Like it's so far it's very efficient in its storytelling, its world building. That it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it's like stopping to like explain everything. It's explaining it as it's going along. It's moving forward. The Toothless shows up, and I just it was that exchange was like, you know, Pickup is about to stab, it's like crazy.
Yeah.
And then like later on, Hiccup starts like finds Toothless again, and they start having some moments. And I had this when I watched this movie like after 10 o'clock, and I was sure I was gonna be like really tired and not in a good mood. But man, when that happened, when those scenes were happening, I was giddy.
Yes!
I was
Yes!
going like it's so sweet. I was going crazy. And then I was getting misty-eyed, and nothing sad was happening.
You didn't even have
no
contact in your
contact.
eyes.
I don't have contact.
Maybe I did cry.
I was getting misty-eyed, and there was nothing like sad happening. It was just like a really sweet thing happening on screen. Like
They really have a nice bond.
I
like,
think,
and it makes sense. Like, and it's not like rushed. It's perfectly paced.
God, it's perfectly paced. It's not too fast, not too slow.
To loop back to animation, like the expressions
On
of
both,
Toothless.
yeah, like I mean,
On both of them, but especially Toothless.
Yeah,
like they did it so perfectly where it's expressive like a cartoon, but it still feels very, very much like an animal, like an extremely intelligent animal.
Yeah.
But it was still an animal. Like oh man, when the Hiccup is like drawn in the sand, all grumpy, and like the dragon like gets out a giant tree branch and just like starts drawing for this long moment, and then it zooms out and it's just nonsense.
Yes.
And
then
like
Hiccup goes to step on it, and the dragon
goes to
gets
step
mad.
on it, and
There's like this big whimsical scene of Hiccup like dancing over the lions, and Hiccup is all Toothless is all happy. And the moment that got like, again, not even like, I mean, I guess it's emotional, but not even emotional in the terms of like, oh, this is gonna make me cry. I think it was just like the amalgamation of what the movie was building up to that point, the weight of the moment, and I guess like a little bit of marketing, but more so like this was all over the marketing, and yet it's still this heavy. When Hiccup nervously turning away held out his hand, and Toothless rested his head on his hand.
Yeah.
That just felt like the culmination of everything that it had. And I mean, I had totally forgotten that. I mean, I remember throughout the movie that he was trying to do it, and Toothless wasn't, being reactive to it. But I forgot in that very scene, like he had started to do it, and Toothless was, not as angry as normal, but still very hesitant. And then that's the moment where Toothless just fully reached his oh my God, Hiccup fully reached his arm out and then just turned his head around, like, like I'm scared, but. I want to bond with this dragon, Like, everything is telling me not to do this, but I want to do this, and I can't look. And then that's when Toothless rests his head in his hand, and it's just like, oh my God.
It's shot so well, it's acted so well, animated so well, really.
Yeah. The music kills it.
Yeah, like the way that, like, that Toothless will like look at Hiccup like expectantly, where he's like when he's like dropping off like the half of a fish that he like threw up.
yeah,
and he's like, it's yours.
Yeah,
and he's just like looking at him. He's like, well, are you gonna eat it?
And the only dialogue that really matters through that is Hiccup going.
Yeah.
Like you can practice like there's basically no dialogue throughout the whole thing. It's so funny.
Yep.
And I love the writing of this movie in general, but I also really love how, you don't have to have dialogue. I would rather this movie specifically have it, but you don't have to have it,
Like I said, extremely efficient.
Yes.
It is quite a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
After so much of the crap we've had to deal with.
After so much forced dialogue. And believe me, there's some forced dialogue in this movie. Like, But
I guess at this point, I mean, I could spend the next let's see.
No, I want to keep
5
guessing.
years talking about the animation, but
no, we're still going. I want to keep
all
going.
right, sure. Okay, go for it.
I just feel it's just so nice from like the way they bond to get fish to the way like he's training. He helps out Toothless learn to fly again. Oh my god, it's just like him trying like the whole like fixing his tail and all the like mishaps that happen there. To the whole scene where he has the cheat sheet. And he's flying, and then he loses
the
whole
cheat sheet.
beginning flight scene. And then eventually, he's like, it's flying in the wind. He's like, base rest. It's like he's going to like God knows how fast. He eventually just throws the cheat sheet and just goes for it. Oh, it's so great.
Yeah. Oh man. With the you can really feel like that like attachment that he added. The what would you call that? The
appendage.
Yeah. That appendage that he that he adds. Like in that scene, you can really feel how like flimsy it is. Yeah. I was surprised that it was like still around for that long because it looked like it was gonna fall apart at any moment. But there's another thing, like just showing in the montage form him like continuing to develop and continuing to experiment and figure out how to get it working right. Man, oh man, it's so good. This movie's so fucking good.
It's good.
This is skipping ahead a little bit, and I'll try to be like as vague as possible. But the animation is so good. This does not happen very often, but the animation is so good that I vividly remember when the reveal happens where there's like a head dragon that the dragons have to feed. That reveal. I remember thinking like, okay, I mean that's a little weird, but there's still more movie left. I'm not going to complain too much. And then when it was very obvious that like the climax was starting, I'm like, oh my god, is this what they're going with? There's like a head dragon, and that's why all the dragons have to like. That's so stupid. But like, I'm thinking to myself like, oh, that's so dumb. And then like the dragon is breathing fire, and the Vikings are like swinging their axes at it, and then Hiccup, Toothless, and the other kids come in, and there's like this big battle, and it's going from oh my god, this is so stupid, I can't believe this, to oh my god, this is so stupid. I can't. That's really cool. No, it's no. Actually, no. This is really cool.
Yeah.
Like whatever story issue I had, it just didn't matter. It just didn't matter because you can't have this incredible looking dragon, this gigantic dragon who's super intimidating and just crush you by blinking at you. Can't have this insane fight with these insanely emotional scope to it. There's no way you can do it. It's not like, I always bring this movie up when it's something like this, I hate because I love the movie, but it's not like Kiki's Delivery Service where it's like, oh, well, you could have just like, it didn't have to be like this. It's like, I kind of feel like even if it doesn't 100% work, it kind of has to be like this, and it's better off this way, And it's because of the animation.
Like it's a way to kind of tie the knots together, and it's a huge way of creating respect between Viking and dragon.
Yeah.
Because that's what the whole thing is about. The whole movie is about like compassion and understanding.
Yes, when Gobber gives them the book to read and everyone else is like, books are for nerds. We're not nerds. Like a Gravity Falls joke or something.
Yeah.
And then Hiccup starts reading it, and he's going through all the pages. Kill dragon on sight, kill dragon on sight, kill dragon on sight, kill dragon on sight. And he connects the dots with what he's seeing with Toothless, who he did kill on sight. And Toothless is just an animal, not something that needs to be killed. The moment where he goes, we've had this all wrong, is like, oh my god.
No. The moment for me, I think it was like the first day, and they had failed the thing, and the Gobber had to corral the dragon back into the sanctuary, and he says the line. He warns them: a dragon will always go for the kill.
So
And
why
then he-
didn't you?
And then he had that pause.
And then it comes back later.
It comes back later
Because Astrid is like, Astrid's like,
No,
I should have. No, Hiccup's like, I should have had the chance. I should have killed him right then. And then Astrid goes, so why didn't you?
Why couldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, because I wouldn't. Because I'm a coward. But because like, and then he's jumping ahead again.
We're jumping all over the place.
But he says like, I looked at him and I saw myself.
Yes.
Oh
and
God,
I was bawling.
Yes. Because
it wasn't the context.
and it's not even like it's being spoon fed. Like that's just all you need to know for like everything that had happened in the movie up to that point to just come rushing back to you.
Yeah.
God, it's so good.
It's so satisfying. All the setup and payoff that happen with stuff that just feel like throw off jokes. Like for instance, you gestured to all of me.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Even that has an excellent payoff at the end.
It does. Oh my god. It's so good. But and honestly, it is Hiccup and Toothless's story. Is there anything else we could say, or should we talk about the other characters?
Well, I mean, we still haven't talked about Hiccup or Tooth. We're just talking about the animation still.
That's very true. Hiccup is, but I feel like we got to talk about them both.
Yeah, Hiccup and Toothless. I agree.
Well, okay, we can start
again.
off
Hiccup starts as a little shit, and he grows throughout the whole goddamn movie. He becomes a better dragon trainer. He becomes more compassionate. He uses his technological smarts instead of like thinking of ways to kill a dragon. He's like repairs Toothless's like tail and thinks of ways to like be more compassionate and calm the dragons down and be a pacifist in this dragon killing world.
And it makes sense that he's like an inventor because he's also an apprentice to a blacksmith.
Yeah, I never thought about that. You're right.
Yeah, the guy he's an apprentice to Gabber.
I like Gabber a lot. I don't know why I can't remember his name.
I like him too, but I can't remember his name. It's not that good. It's not that good of a name.
That's fair.
But he's an apprentice to Gabber, and even though Gabber keeps like talking shit all the time, like he's learning about like creating weaponry and and forgery, and he's applying it into a passion of his, this brand new passion of like of a dragon.
Yep.
This is probably something that I'll have to figure out a bit more with the second watch. I was kind of flip flopping on whether or not he was too annoying, or whether he was the exact annoying that was needed.
I think it was the exact amount, honestly.
I think he was maybe a little bit over. There were some parts where it's like, all right, come on. But he was so likable that it didn't bother me.
It's so weird because it's like I was watching. It's like I feel like I should be really annoyed with this, but he's getting to me. He's really getting me.
Yeah, because his struggle. I mean, obviously his struggle is I want to kill a dragon, but it isn't like I want to kill a dragon, then they'll accept me. It's like I want to kill a dragon, then I'll be a Viking, right? Like it isn't just so like spoon fed. He's like, I want to be a Viking. I want to prove myself to my dad. Like just anybody can understand it, even if it's like, like don't kill a little dragon. They're just goofy little guys, which they are goofy little guys. But just that feeling of I just want to be worth something. Everybody around me can so effortlessly do this, and I think they're so cool, and I can't. I just want to do this. I just want to do this, and I want to do it my way. Show people that yes, I can do this thing. And his dad literally tells him. His dad literally tells him at one point, like, you got to stop thinking like that. You're a Viking. Act like one.
Yeah. He wants to contribute to the village because, like, as we see in the opening, he is burdensome, and everyone treats him as such. They have a joke. This like is teetering on the edge where they're talking about how they're gonna go try to find the dragon's nest, and all the other Vikings are like, oh, I don't know. Okay, whoever stays around has to watch over Hiccup, and then suddenly everybody's participating. It's like God damn.
Damn.
What kind of dad are you? Not a good one, clearly.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
One of a kind.
God.
I think what helps with Hiccup a lot also is that he meets Toothless so early on. Like, if they really held that off, then I think he would have gotten really annoying really fast. But because that scene happened so early where he's about to stab him, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna kill this dragon, the village will accept me, but, he just, that heavy breathing. And he just can't bring himself to do it. He frees him. And he's like, oh my god, what did I do? Is this a good idea? He has to come back to be like, is the dragon still there?
It happens so fast, but it's set up so early.
Yeah.
Because, like, in that opening sequence, that opening battle, the one thing he does that cascades into a clusterfuck is is capture the Night Fury. This elusive dragon that nobody's seen. Nobody's lived to tell the tale of seeing the Night Fury, but he's caught it, and he swears that he's caught it. Nobody believes him, of course. So he's gonna now. He's angry. He's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna prove it to everybody. I'm gonna do it. And then he gets to that. He finally gets to that moment, and he realizes, I can't do this. I feel for this. I feel for this creature way too much. And the rest of the adventure unfolds. The contrast with this was something that I remember when I watched it on TV, and watching it again this time, I was like, wow, this is really well done. The contrast between his training and what he does and how he approaches Hiccup, and then how that gets applied in reverse.
Yes.
And suddenly he's teaching everybody else stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. I love that.
And he's finally starting to get like some appreciation, but it's a false appreciation because they're not appreciating him for training the dragons. They're thinking like, oh yeah, he's doing so well, like he's gonna pacify them and then kill them. Like this, they haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
They haven't understood that compassion for others. It's really, really well done. I was quite impressed with that.
Yeah, I really think that was really good too. And again, it's paced effortlessly of how it's done too.
Yeah. And also what helps is I'll say it. Hopefully I'm not the only one that thinks this because it sounds super shallow. The best character in the movie, Toothless.
Oh my god.
The best.
The best character in the movie.
Dare I say the best character in DreamWorks? Because
see, like, my problem is, do we count Wallace and Gromit? That's my thing. I can't say Gromit. I can't say I like him more than Gromit.
I do not. That is
I don't know.
DreamWorks does not own Wallace and Gromit.
I know, but just thinking.
I don't know. Out of all the DreamWorks cats, him or Puss in Boots, like it's
no.
I mean, I have some other thoughts. Like, I mean, I don't like rewatching the Shrek movies. I'm like, I love Donkey so much.
Yeah, I get that.
And even like Kung Fu Panda, like Shifu and Oogway, like, oh man.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll say the best DreamWorks,
but definitely up there, maybe the best. Like, I will humor that argument because it could be true.
Yeah, best character in the movie by far, though. Yeah, I agree.
Definitely best character in the easy.
Again, this can easily change with the second watch through. Maybe the second time we'd be like, oh, okay, this movie is like whatever. But that first time, I was so drawn in to Toothless. That was all I could focus on. Which just like whenever Toothless is not on screen, I'm asking, where's Toothless? I was.
And when Toothless is on screen, I'm asking, where's Bob?
What if Bob and Toothless collab together on a Christmas album?
What if Toothless opened his mouth, you heard?
I almost spit out my water. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Look, I'm sorry. It's like I fucking love Toothless.
Oh
no, he's great.
Good.
I love him so much.
It felt like movie magic when I was watching. Like it's just I was not watching an animated film. I was not watching a DreamWorks movie. I was just watching this creature in front of me, and I was just spellbound watching them.
It's so funny that you say that because I was actually thinking of DreamWorks a lot when watching Toothless, specifically because a lot of when Toothless was on screen, I mean, I loved it, but I was also thinking like, man, if this was a Disney movie, I would hate Toothless so much.
First off, he would talk and sing a song.
We've had so many discussions.
Or just
about
be
that,
like
yeah.
or just be like the dragon in Onward.
I completely forgot about the dragon and Onward. Oh.
I don't even remember.
Yes, but that's all Toothless would be if Disney made this. You know it has that DreamWorks touch because Toothless can be so much more, which I know, Chris Sanders, Lilo and Stitch, I know. but still.
I was gonna say, if anything, this film reminded me more of Disney than DreamWorks at points.
That I agree with. Outside of Toothless, I actually agree.
Yeah.
I wonder how that could be.
The flying scene I can show you later.
Oh, yeah.
I guess we were going to talk about Toothless. I think it's very easy to make, like an animal, right?
Yeah.
They have a personality and it's like, oh, they're super friendly, but, get in their way and, that's, it's like, oh, not so friendly. And it's like, it's for the funnies. And yeah, I mean, that's the basic, like, again, if you were to just boil it down, that's like, the most basic, that's what Toothless can fall under. But bizarre, I don't want to say like in depth because I think that contrasts the simplicity that makes Toothless so great. But Toothless isn't just haha funny dragon is a cat or haha funny dragon, right?
Yeah.
Like there is a character here, there is personality, and that's what I really like. Well, I mean, on top of everything else, Toothless stuff.
Yeah.
But like the core of why Toothless is, not just like it's the same thing with a character like Gromit. If we're gonna compare it, character like Gromit, Gromit is a dog, doesn't say anything, but there's just so many working parts to why Gromit is perfect, right?
Yep.
And it's the same thing with Toothless, but it's so effortless that it feels simple, even if it isn't.
Sorry, I now have good dinosaur on the brains. I'm gonna rub some more salt on that wound. But I'm just thinking about like the comparison with that with the human, whatever it's Spot. I think
Spot. Yeah.
In Good Dinosaur, it's. Yeah, it's like in that one, it's just dog. Like this one, like I said, it's like a super intelligent animal. Like this is an animal that that knows about like art. Not well. At least not in the way that us humans can comprehend.
That's true. I'm sure. Fantastic.
I'm sure. But like
I would commission. But
the fact that he saw this thing that Hiccup was doing out of boredom, and he's just like, I want to try that. I want to see what that's like. And suddenly he's like attached to it. And like Hiccup is like stepping on it, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? Get off of my art.
I loved when Toothless was pissed off. The faces were so funny.
So sweet. And then like he puts his foot off, and he's like, we're cool now.
Yeah. And then he steps on. It's like it reminds me of the SpongeBob joke with the cone on your head when they're pulling up the picture of the maniac.
Stay indoors, son.
Get that dragon off your head.
Again, the shot of Toothless without his teeth is just great and adorable. Even when it cuts to like him being like, I thought I saw you with teeth, and it's just like
he gets his teeth out. I was like, oh shit.
I know in the book he's actually toothless, but for this joke, it's like it's fine.
Oh yeah. It makes sense in either way. It's just like a fun little quirk to just have like a. What function does it has? I don't know. It's adorable though. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Honestly,
it's adorable.
It's like just seeing him like eating eating fish. Just like just swallowing it down its gullet. It's like, god damn, I love this guy. I love him so.
I love this. Is there a Toothless plushie?
100%. Are you kidding me?
There has to be.
This movie was super merchandise. There's a TV show.
Oh, yep, here it is. I can get it for $17.99 on Amazon. There's even a Toothless Funko Pop.
Of course, dude. This movie is huge. What are you talking about? This movie.
I want the plushie.
We all want the plushie, but we can't. We're just dreaming about the real thing.
Yeah,
that should be the new Blaha. Forget a shark. Forget an IKEA shark.
Yeah, make it toothless.
Get a toothless. Get a sweet little dragon. He's just like a fun little buddy. He's so sweet. I love Toothless so much.
He's a good boy.
Like, I love Toothless too. We have 17 and a half minutes left.
Jesus Christ.
This has flown right by, pun partially intended. What are we going to talk about next?
I think we should talk about either Astrid or the father.
How about the dad? I think there's more to talk about with him.
Yeah, the dad.
There is something I want to talk about, but I will let you two go first.
All right, so I have mixed feelings about the dad in so many ways. On one hand, he is like he does try to be the leader of the pack. He has to be tough. He has to make decisions, and he does care for his son. Like the whole scene between him and Gobbler, where he's like, "What am I gonna do with my kid? You have to put him in training." That no, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. And he does this because he's afraid that he's gonna get killed. And even Gobbler was like, "Yo, come on, like." He's sneaking out already. He's probably doing it right now.
Right now, I love that so much.
Because it's true. And
yeah.
And you just see him, and there is a reason he doesn't want his son to learn. And then eventually he's like, fuck it. You'll learn, of course, when he doesn't want to anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
I do like it that he does decide to do it, though.
I like when they both say it at the same time. Like, no, you first.
Oh, their awkwardness is great.
Yeah.
Like, that whole scene when he gets back.
Oh, my God.
And he's like, we finally have something to talk about.
Yes.
Well, good
this is good on Hiccup. This is good. This is good on Hiccup, too. Don't get me wrong. But so great for the dad. What's his name? I feel bad.
Oh, God. What is it?
Stoic, I think is Stoic. Stoic, I think his name is. Stoic, yeah.
Stoic.
Just he's like, he is trying to relate with his son, but he just can't because there's nothing
No, that's it. And there's another thing is that, like, they barely talk about this, but, like, I have a feeling that, like, there was much more of a connection with the mother. Like, between,
yeah,
like,
yes, they do talk about that a little bit.
They talk about that
with the hat.
The hat. With the breastplate.
The helmet. Yeah, the breastplate. Okay, honestly, that was like the first like naughty, wink wink DreamWorks joke. I like go fun.
Yeah. That was saucy, but it kind of worked. Because
it has a breastplate.
No, it's super worth. Are you kidding? I was laughing so. It's because of Hiccup's face. He calls it the break face. Hiccup's like,
yeah. But he's like it's the breastplate. But then he explains it's like it's just like a way to like feel closer to her. Like it's like I would say it's like a gross way of doing it, but it's honestly like sweet. Like in his world,
it's how I would expect the Viking to be sentimental. Yeah. Honest to God.
Yes, exactly. It makes sense.
But yeah, so he does have a lot of great moments, but then,
he wouldn't listen.
Yeah, that they do point out to be his flaw, but like literally that whole scene where he's like, "You're not my son," and I'm like, I groaned at that a bit. I did, I really did. And at first I was like, "Okay, great, this is the 180, the Act 3 breakup. I'm gonna hate this," but I don't know. I still wound up liking him, like when he was like trying to get into the nest, and then eventually he sees like Hiccup come back with dragons, and Gobbler goes, stubborn like his old man.
Yeah.
And I feel so conflicted of how to feel about him.
If it helped with this, it's weird that we didn't want to mention this, but similar to Brave, where there's the mother-daughter conflict, and they have that huge fight. And they have separate ways, and you can see that like that moment felt horrible for both of them.
Yes,
I think it was very important that they showed
that glimpse of
they showed his face.
That glimpse of like, man, I can't believe this. But it's like,
because if they just did the "You're not my son" and then it cuts to the next scene, like,
then it would have been like, shit, dude.
The fact that you do see like he hates everything he said, but he has to do what he has to do for his people. Because he does bring up a good point. Dragons may be nice. Dragons need to be compassionate, but dragons have killed so many Vikings.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, dragons have killed hundreds of us because we've killed thousands of them.
Yeah.
Great line.
God.
Yeah. Man.
God damn.
Okay, I'm just gonna finally come in and say it. We know how I feel about Act 3 breakups. Even just in this podcast, like, you could ask me why is Shrek 2 better than Shrek 1, and I would just explicitly say Shrek 2 doesn't have an Act 3 breakup and just leave it there. Like, I wouldn't have to say anything else. Like, by far, my least favorite trope. We have not talked about a single example of me liking this trope yet. And today that changes.
Yeah.
I straight up, this movie would be worse without it.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
And I think it's because of everything. Because it doesn't feel like an Act 3 breakup. It feels like a dad who, for the first time, was finally able to connect with his son. And then that was taken away. And they both feel awful about it. Like, you can hear, like, the angerness and the bitterness in Stoic's voice. And then you can hear, like, Hiccup about to cry. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to get this far. I messed up. Just please don't hurt Toothless, please. And then he lets it slip out accidentally about the dragon's nest. No, don't get any ideas. You'll die. Don't, please. And that's when he says, you're not my son. He's devastated. And then you see the look on Stoic's face of just pure, like, it feels like he's betrayed himself.
Yeah, just massive regret about it.
And even when, like, you know, they get, like, when Hiccup gets to the island and they find each other, you know, Stoic says, you know, you don't have to prove yourself. And Hiccup says, I'm a Viking. It's like, we're contractually obligated, or whatever he says.
It's collateral damage.
It's collateral damage. We're Vikings.
It comes with the occupation. Occupational hazard, I think.
Occupational hazard, that was it. Yeah, occupational hazard, which is great callback, like 74.
Yeah.
But then, you know, he says, you know, I love you, son, and it's like, ah! And then when he thinks Hiccup dies, it's like, man, he's like, I never treated you right. You know, I never saw you, and oh my God. It was so good.
And it's like hard.
And I think a reason why it hits. I mean, the reason why I hate Act 3 breakup so much is just because it just completely, like, spits in the face of anything that is close to that in reality, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, oh, we're gonna get into a petty argument, when in reality, like, this can ruin lives. And it's just this way because, you know, oh, Hollywood movies, we have to set it up like this, and it's like, shut up. This is how. It's so good. It's so
like
good.
You know what it is for so many of others. For instance, like Shrek, it just feels like you're railroading it, and like it's like you just have this because you need this conflict. This is something that if we're gonna talk about some screenwriting shit, this is external conflict connecting to the internal conflict.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about a dragon. But, like, what they're really talking about is each other. Like, that what I'm saying about compassion and understanding is not that there's still that barrier. And even though for so long Stoic is acting appreciative, he's not understanding his son. He's not listening to his son. And it's this constant thing, and it's just done so wonderfully. It's just kind of, it really does feel effortless. Like, it's just, oh, this is just how it had to happen. But we've watched so much shit that this just did not did not work enough on. And that was just like falling apart. And we just know that, like, this takes so much time to get right. And I think like Chris Sanders and his writing partner, they knocked it out of the park.
It's so good. So and good. Again,
we briefly talked about this. Sorry, Random, but we briefly talked about this when Stoic gets back from trying to get to the dragon's nest. He finds out that everybody loves Hiccup. He barges into the room. He's like, he acts all mad at first. He's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And then he's all happy, which. Predictable, but cute. But then, you know, the part that I liked, both I thought was really funny, and then, you know, immediately afterwards I was like, oh, was when, you know, he's like, oh, you finally did it, you were holding out for me, I thought you were gonna be a miserable failure my whole life, but you were just holding out on me, which, like, I'm laughing in the moment, and he goes, alright, talk to me, son. And then there's complete silence, and he's like, "Oh, okay, sorry. I guess she's not ready." I'm like,
"Yeah." I mean, listen, Dad, am I right?
Yes.
but also like it's just so good. Like just again, it's external to internal. Like it's looking like an appreciation, but it's not. It's just not having that real connection. And it's not until far too late that it finally realizes the errors of its ways. And it's just like how well we barely talked about that final fight. He's actually starting to like understand like what he's seeing in this, and it is funny. It is funny. Like I was like thrilled with this, but it is funny that like I was like, oh, compassion and understanding of this dragon, and the climax is we have to destroy this bigger dragon.
Hey,
but again, it's like I said before. I'm like, come on, you're doing so good. This is so dumb. And then, like, the longer the fight went on, the more I was just like, this is the coolest thing ever.
It really is a cool fight.
Like Kung Fu Panda, eat your heart out. This is so cool.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, this is a great climax, and I love how it's foreshadowed too. It's like it's just this little joke about like how this stupid twerp dragon tries to steal Toothless's food. And then he just about to be like, and then Toothless just goes,
and spits in his mouth.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh wow, you're not so tough on the inside.
They're not flame.
Well, no, specifically, no. Specifically, what it was is that you could tell by the color of the smoke. That's the gas.
Yeah,
like they had alluded to earlier in the movie, where this dragon breathes gas, this one breathes fire, so that it can trigger that reaction more naturally.
I love that dragon. The fact that you have
yes, also
the fact that you actually take the logic of dragons like that. That you're just like, okay, here we have this two-headed dragon. One of them spews out the gas, and the other one is basically a spark plug. That's all it does.
Yeah,
it's just a spark plug, and you understand visually how dragons work. All of a sudden, and it makes that finale pay off so well when you see that huge gas cloud inside the bigger dragon's mouth, and when he gets that shoot that fire, and you see exactly what's happening. They don't show, because that dragon, like, it gets shut down and then it just disappears. We have no idea what happened with that dragon.
It blew up.
No, but it's like they were just falling, right?
The dragon burst into flames.
No, on the inside.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, a little lesson, Wash. If you burst into flames on the inside, you're gonna burst into flames on the outside.
I don't remember that part at all. I get that. I guess I do have to watch it again.
Wash. Yeah.
Look, even if they don't show you, like, if you have.
Look, that tiny dragon was fine. Okay.
If you have flammable gas building up inside you and you shoot a fireball inside, you're dead.
No, look, that tiny dragon.
If a dragon burns from the inside and goes off screen, doesn't make a sound.
Listen, that tiny dragon that set up that whole thing. That tiny dragon would just like weak, and then Hiccup says, "Okay, fine, you can have some fish." And then the dragon like came up closer and went by his hand.
Yeah. I want a pet dragon.
We barely even talked about all the different kinds of dragons, but
I love them. I love them. I love their designs. I love their personalities.
Yeah, I love their.
I love how they feel like animals. That's what I.
Yes, and they're all like different and dopey, and I love how like all the like characters who we grew to like fight dragons get their own chance to tame their own dragons. Like the twins get the two.
They get the two-headed dragon. Yeah.
Which I should have seen coming, by the way, that the twins would get the twin-headed.
I'm surprised they didn't either. The nerdy one gets the nerdy one gets like the big one who's like dopey.
Yeah. There's the what's his name? The one that's trying to be like flirty with Astrid.
I am gonna. If there is one character I didn't like in the movie, it was him.
Yeah, I didn't get him.
Like the other side characters, I liked well enough, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
they range from good to forgettable.
Yeah, it doesn't help that kid is like voiced by Jonah Hill, but
no.
Yeah, I could tell. I could tell.
Yeah, there's one Jonah Hill DreamWorks role I really like, but it's not this one.
He's just there.
I wish Astrid wasn't quite as forced romance as she was.
Yeah.
I mean, when she's not like that, I like her well enough. You know, quick to anger, but you know, she's also you can show her riding toothless and stuff, and it's like okay, you can change even like the angriest of Vikings, right? Like that's good.
Yeah.
But then as obviously I know I haven't said it yet, but I watched these with Nico, and the whole movie up to this point, she was completely silent, completely engrossed, and then Astrid kissed Hiccup, and she was like, "What?"
Yep.
For all the things that I normally don't like that this movie gets right, the first romance, I don't think it did very good.
No, not at all.
I will.
It wasn't terrible. I just don't think it was that earned, really.
I will give it a pass of like puppy love. I'll give it that sort of pass, and like the sort of thing of like a girl who's like really annoyed with somebody and then becoming smitten. That does tend to happen sometimes. Where you just
no, well, I mean, yeah. It's just, my problem is also that it doesn't feel earned.
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
It's like she hates him. They go flying on the dragon. She's like, "All right, fine, I'll believe you about Toothless." There you go. The bond starts, and then they kiss, and it's like, what?
Yeah, like if they waited till the end of the movie,
yeah, just the end of the movie.
No. I feel like then that would be unearned. Like I think the fact that it's just like it was just like a kiss on the cheek, just like a. I feel like that was at least a little friendlier. That it was it's not going all the way with like when the kissing lips and stuff.
Yeah, that is a good point. But like
it was building up a little, and I think it's like semi-owned because like she's finally getting that appreciation, and like just seeing for so much of the movies she was like really jealous of him, and just like really annoyed with all the attention he was getting, and like how distant and dismissive he's becoming, and then he's just like, okay, I'll force this through myself. What's going on here? And then they have that amazing dragon flying.
Amazing.
I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, Viking, would you?
I can show you the timer.
No, I want to talk about this more.
I mean, the timer's up. We're done. Like, final thoughts. I do feel a little bad. We didn't talk about Gobber that much because I really liked him.
Yeah, he's great.
But the timer's up.
I don't care. Gobber's great. I like him. He was funny. And he does care for Hiccup a bit too. So
yeah, he also cared for the timer, which is up.
And that moment when between him and Stoic, where they're like, he's like, where they work together to like distract the beast. That was really nice.
Yeah, it was a lot nicer than the timer, which is up.
And they have it's very much like a tough love sort of situation between Gobber and Hiccup. I keep forgetting all these names because they're not very good names.
The easiest name to remember is definitely the timer, which is up.
Yeah. Would you? I want it.
Listen, I gotta be the one. I'm the only one who will, so I'm gonna be the one. Timer's up.
I want to.
The final thing that I'll say that I like Gobber is Stone Tooth. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I also like that he made Hiccup's little like thing. That was nice.
Yes! Oh my god, I love that.
Oh my god, we didn't talk about. I was crying so much with that finale when he has an appendage just like Toothless. I was crying so much. That's so good.
It was so nice because they bonded over it, and then he got a better tail with it that's like red. And it's so nice.
Final thoughts.
A lot nicer than the timer, which is up.
I don't.
Final thoughts. Like I said, when I watched this, I was feeling tired, and not only was I feeling tired, but I was like, okay, I gotta watch this movie like quick, or because the very next because this morning I have a phone interview that I gotta get ready for. I don't want to be too sleepy for it, so I was just watching this, and I was just like, oh, it was feeling like an obligation, and like as soon as Toothless showed up, suddenly it was all I could focus on. And it really felt. We talked about we were talking like when is the DreamWorks film gonna make me cry? Like Kung Fu Panda nearly did, this made me bawl. This, I was blubbering over this. Like it's especially like there's so many things that's like, it's not even like a sad moment. It's just really sweet. It's just, I love this dragon so much. I want to ride him through the sky. I could show you the world. Like, it's just the world, the world building, the lore, the really tight script, the visuals. It was just so much. There was just so much to appreciate that it was just. Was this a DreamWorks movie? Because I've been so mid on so much of it. But here finally was the something that like I could just genuinely like. I really, really, really like this movie. I guess I'll be the first to break this. I was having a genuine argument with myself on whether or not this is better than Shrek 2. Like, it's already that high.
Mm-hmm.
I ultimately have to say, I ultimately had to put it like just a touch beneath Shrek 2, mainly because this was my first time watching, and I think it's just a honeymoon phase that I'm going through right now. Like
with the movie, not with Toothless. Like, we understand that.
Well,
Yes,
but like I was so smitten with this film. Like I felt left out. Like I felt like I should have watched this. Like I was just thinking like, man, I should have watched this instead of Toy Story 3. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Yeah, funny how things change.
Funny how things change. Huh? Funny how its company changes, huh? Because like considering what we had just watched, funny how it changes.
Yep. Well, as the one who's already seen this movie, having seen it again, I was worried because, like I said, I was reminded, not terribly long before we watched this movie that, it has a lot of tropes that I normally don't like. It just turns out, and then I watched the movie and I was reminded, it just takes those tropes and actually uses them well. What a crazy idea. A crazy thought. Right? I absolutely adore it. Obviously, we talked about how amazing Toothless is, how much we all love Toothless. I'm right there with you. Hiccup is an excellent main character. Stoic is a role that so easily could have went wrong, but because they actually focused on the father-son relationship instead of the Hollywood, it wound up working so much better. Side characters that should just be stupid comedic relief, I mostly like. We talked about Fish Legs, I like him. The twins, I thought they were funny.
Yeah. I don't appreciate one of the actors.
I mean, when they were arguing with other characters, I was like, whatever. But when it was like the twins arguing with each other, I'm like, oh yeah, these two do this every day. I like this routine. It's like Sergeant Fillmore in Cars, kind of like that.
Tough Nut and Rough Nut, which I think is a funny name. It's like Kristen Wiig would just like, I mean, she's phenomenal everywhere, but she was like so much fun.
I didn't even know that was Kristen Wiig until looking at the Wikipedia.
Okay, so I just wanted to. I knew it wasn't Hans Zimmer, which blew me away because I love the music. I'm like, it has to be Hans Zimmer. Then it wasn't. It was John Powell, and I don't know who that is because he's not Hans Zimmer. But he did a great job with the music. I talked about the animation is still the best part of the movie, but that's not to slight everything else. It isn't perfect. No movie is. I do have my problems with it, which I talked about, but they're so small compared to everything that the movie does well. And second verse, same as the first in this regard. When we watched it, like I finished it, and Nico asked me, what did you think? I was like, I loved it. Definitely less than Shrek 2, but definitely above Kung Fu Panda. Like, it's same as watching that regard, although mine was a little bit easier. And I thought about it, I'm like, is it really that easy? It feels kind of disrespectful, but the more I thought about it, it's like, yeah, it kind of is. But that's not on How to Train Your Dragon. That is, Shrek 2 is so hard of a movie to beat. Even outside of DreamWorks, like most Pixar, most anime, all Edgar Wright, Higurashi and Starkid aren't movies, but point is, like, there's really not much movie-wise that tops Shrek 2. But How to Train Your Dragon, not that far, it's far enough, but it's not that far under, Love the movie. So happy to revisit. So happy that it held up. I'm a little surprised they like it more than Kung Fu Panda, but not really.
I will very quickly add, because you're talking about John Powell. I feel like we actually did talk about John Powell because he co-scored Kung Fu Panda with Hans Zimmer. And
he's co-scored a few things with Hans Zimmer.
He did.
Well, I mean, here's the problem: is that Hans Zimmer was there, so I didn't care.
But he would show up. He will show up later on doing more with Kung Fu Panda and How to Train the Dragon. So we will get to learn more about.
Honestly, John Powell was all the way there back in Ants.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. I think I did. I might have talked about that as well. Yeah.
It was Ants was his first score for an animated film.
Well, if this John Powell guy is so great, then where is he?
You know what, John Powell? Thanks to you, Hans Zimmer will
get a day off. And then
Finally.
Jeffrey Katzenberg jumps after Woody Allen, crushes his face on the ground, and dies.
No, I was just thinking of like Jeffrey Katzenberg is like, why is Hans Zimmer not calling me anymore? He's not answering my text.
Anyways.
Anyway, time to destroy Quibi.
Random, you're up.
I have never seen this film before. I've been not avoiding it for years, but just like, it'll be the right time when it's the right time. And wow, this impressed me a lot. I really love the visuals. I love Toothless. I love Hiccup. I love the characters. Even the funny like training buddy characters, like they range from the worst to I love them the best. Like I thought the twins were funny. I really liked the nerd. He was my favorite. Astrid was fine, but a little suffers a bit from love interest. But even then, like, she didn't bother me that much. Even afterwards, like the kiss did come out a little weird. I'm not gonna lie, but like, it's still like she still was Astrid, just kinder. I really did enjoy the interaction between the father. I want to say the "You're not my son" bothered me. I did at first, but like the way it led up to like the way it evolved and came back, that was really good too. There's so much. This film is such a tightly written script, and I love it so goddamn much. I am currently have my mouse over the add to cart button for a toothless pillow pet that I am so tempted to buy right now. It's $30 though. Maybe by the time the sequels happen, we'll see. If I like all three of the movies, I will buy the pillow pet. Mark my words.
Okay, you heard that, Chris Sanders. Better step up your game.
But I really, really did like this one a lot, and it really impressed. It reminded me of the best of things about it I liked about Disney, and the best things about it I liked about DreamWorks all in one. And it was very comfy. Also, I like dragons. Dragons are great. Spyro was my favorite dragon forever. I have the stuffed animal still.
I have it. Where is it?
I just shared it. I have it here.
Oh,
I want it. It's still here.
Oh, that's a sweet little Spyro too.
I also struggled immensely with the ranking of mine.
I thought that was going to be controversial, by the way. I thought that that it was going to be some... But I'm glad we both agree that this was definitely better than Kung Fu Panda.
I agree.
Kung Fu Panda's climax, like, if that was better, then maybe not, but...
Thing.
Yeah.
I'm also like, do I like this better than Shrek 2?
Yeah.
And I can't answer that fully until I watch it again.
Yeah.
Is this better than Kung Fu Panda? Yes, no questions asked. So it's number 3 for me right now, with Prince of Egypt and Shrek 2 being in the top. I need to rewatch Prince of Egypt, though, because does it really deserve to be up there compared to these two movies?
Yeah, like I mean, I love Prince of Egypt, but like I'm even reconsidering compared to like Wallace and Gromit. Like I might like that one more. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there might have been a problem with that like Prince of Egypt was so early that it was like after we'd just seen ants. Prince of Egypt just felt like immaculate.
Like we were just like, whoa, oh my god.
Yeah, but I mean, the only problem is that I think back to Prince of Egypt, I think of the moments and I'm like, yeah, no, that was like amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very tough, but like right now, it's number 3. Like, it's really up there.
Like, the best thing about DreamWorks are that their best movies are hard to rank, their worst movies are hard to rank, and the rest, who cares?
Okay.
Oh, it's so... I love it, though. I love it a lot. I'm so glad I watched it. Oh, finally. I watched it.
Finally, some good fucking food.
And this is the first of 4 movies in a row, I believe. Maybe 5, I don't remember. But first of 4 or 5 movies in a row that are pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Not in terms of whether or not they're good or bad, mind you, but, you know, just they're pretty big deals.
Also, Road to El Dorado is still in my top 10. Literally at number 10.
Oh! Thank you so much for bringing that up. Wash, I have great news. Random, I have terrible news. This movie kicked Ants out of my top 10.
Oh, thank God.
This is the movie that did it. Now Flushed Away is the one hanging on for dear life, but...
For me, it's Road to El Dorado. Flushed Away still got another one.
Don't tell me that, don't tell me that Bob is up there.
I think well, if I remember right, it's still there, because it was like your number 7 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Bob
that's right. I forgot. I liked it that much. Well, it's like comparatively. I liked it quite a bit, but yeah.
Well,
Flushed Away and Chicken Run are hanging on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me. It's Road to El Dorado and Flushed Away are hanging on. Chicken Run is just got kicked out. Oh, and Ants has got kicked out a while ago.
No, I'm the only one who enjoyed Ants.
Madagascar is off there.
You mentioned a bunch of film, first of like 5 that are big deals. What is the next big deal?
Well, the next big deal is gonna be a final big deal. In fact,
yep.
It is. In fact, it wasn't supposed to be the final, but then some stuff happened that we can talk about. But we are finishing the Shrek quadrilogy. I forget what
trilogy.
We are ending the Shrek trilogy with Shrek 4 and Shrek Forever After.
Forever After. Oh my God!
Did you not notice that?
There's no way you didn't notice that until
There's
now.
No way.
There's
you have
no
to be
way.
Acting.
Come on.
I didn't notice it.
Come on. Dude.
Pokemon did this.
Wait, they did?
Pokemon Forever.
Random is having a he's being random when there's no such thing as a squeakquel. That means sequel.
My God.
So we're gonna be
okay. I did not know about the 4s.
I thought you were gonna say I did not know about the squeakquel.
Speaking of
squeakquel, we have the final squeakquel, the Shrekquel, Shrek Forever After, wrapping up what was supposed to be a 5-movie series is now a big wrap up into a 3-movie series. So hopefully our good pal Diana Luna will join us again for that. It's not the end of the franchise, of the Shrek franchise. There's actually a couple of beyond that, but wink wink.
And maybe more in the future. We'll see. Only time will tell.
Yeah, there's some hints with that as well.
But until then, plug.
If you like what you listen to, go
support our non-existent Patreon.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/ClaireFluffle.
And patreon.com/RandomBystanderHere here.
Yeah, have a Patreon?
Mine exists.
Yeah, mine doesn't exist yet.
Ooh.
Okay, but the joke is that host.
Oh. It's alright, I'll steal your Patreons with my non-existent Patreon.
If you like what you listen to, you can check us out in video forms, youtube.com/WRK podcast. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Just let us know how do you feel about Toothless?
Yes. Tell us your favorite moment with Toothless in the comments.
Yes, please.
And don't say all of them. It's correct, but also don't cower
down.
Yeah,
don't be a coward. Don't be
specific as possible. Don't be hiccup. Oh my God. Where else can we find
I
you?
didn't even hear that.
But you can also find us in audio form, wrk.simplecast.com, and wherever else you may get the podcast. And if you need to know when the next episode comes out, which is usually every other Saturday, I would usually tweet about them at twitter.com/WRK podcast. That we have dragged on long enough.
Yes. So I'm random bystander here.
I have changed,
Do you think-
and I'm the wash.
Do you think he got that? Do you think he got the joke?
Oh, I got the joke. It was drag on.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't
I
look
tried
like
to
you did.
ignore it.
Look, you didn't get forever. I wasn't sure. I'm Claire.
I apparently do not know what 4 truly means in movie titles, but we all love Toothless, and that's what matters. Bye.
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 Bye.